We're starting today with this warm-up, simplifying the expression. Please pause the recording, give yourself a chance to get this done so that you can check your answer when you return to the recording. Whenever we simplify expressions, we follow the order of operations. I can see grouping symbols, and inside of these grouping symbols I see subtraction, so I'm changing that subtraction to adding a negative. On closer inspection of those grouping symbols, I can see I cannot combine D's with -3's. Some of you freaked out a little bit when you saw D. If an X tile is a green rectangular tile, then a D tile might still be a rectangular tile, but maybe now it's orange and maybe it's a little bit longer. And maybe one time, like on your quiz, you see the variable A. An A is probably another rectangle that maybe is just a little bit longer. We handle all of them the same. Even though we handle all of them the same, notice that Y's are different than D's, so we wouldn't be able to combine those together if we saw them in the same equation. And A's are different than Y's, so we wouldn't be able to combine those in the same equation. So all of these algebra tiles are going to be rectangles. All the variables are represented with rectangles, so we can handle this the same way that we would handle an X tile. We cannot combine this D tile with 3 negative unit tiles, so the grouping symbols must be there for another reason. We look at the expression, we don't see any exponents, so we move on to M for multiplication and division, and we do see why those parentheses are there, because those parentheses are multiplied by 12. So I have 12 groups of D, meaning I have 12D. And I have 12 groups of -3. 12 groups of -3 is -36. Add to that the -7 that was at the beginning of the problem, and now I can see I have 7 negative unit tiles that can be combined with these 36 negative tiles. Altogether, that's going to give me -43, or 43 negative unit tiles. I still have those 12 D tiles, and we cannot combine these. Just like we changed subtraction to adding a negative, I can, if I would prefer, change adding a negative back to subtraction. So 12D minus 43 is also an acceptable answer. At the end of our last lesson, I said that we were going to finish up this problem, so let's do this problem. The situation is Anthony and his friends went to a fast food restaurant for lunch. They ordered and ate 3 Big Macs, 2 McChicken sandwiches, and 4 large fries. A McChicken sandwich has 200 fewer calories than a Big Mac, and a large fry has 50 fewer calories than a Big Mac. Since we are writing these expressions, you can see that the structure, most of that expression is already written, but we need to understand what we're looking at and how it relates to the story so that we can fill in these blank spots. And that's what it says. Part of an expression that represents the total number of calories consumed by Anthony and his friends is shown below. Fill in the remaining pieces of the expression on the lines provided and simplify the expression. So let's read this. C represents the calories in a Big Mac. So I read this and I can see that they ate 3 Big Macs. So if I'm looking at how many total calories, this is the calories of a Big Mac, and they ate 3, that's going to be 3 groups of C, or 3 times C. A McChicken sandwich has 200 fewer calories than a Big Mac. That means I can't just put C because C is too big. C is how many in a Big Mac. I need to represent 200 fewer calories, just like our last problem on the outfit and then the lotion being $2 less than the outfit. We showed that $2 less by subtracting the 2. Similar situation here. This is a Big Mac, but a McChicken has 200 fewer calories. So the Big Mac minus 200 shows 200 fewer calories. It's multiplied by 2 because that is the number of McChicken sandwiches. And this, in parentheses, represents the calories in a large fry. Why? Because a large fry has 50 fewer calories than a Big Mac. So C minus 50 shows the Big Mac minus the 50 calories. That's what we use to represent the calories in a large fry. But there's a blank spot here. Talk with your groups. What is that blank spot supposed to be? Read the story again if you need to. Okay, and come back to me. What is going to go in that blank spot, Caden? 4. Why 4? Yes. So if this is representing the calories in a large fry, we need to know how many large fries they consumed. That would be 4. So now it says write the simplified form of the expression. That means I've got parentheses. I've got our grouping symbols. Can we simplify those? Nope. C minus 200, can't simplify that. C minus 50, can't simplify that. So why are those parentheses there? Because they're grouping that multiplication. So that's what I'm going to do to simplify. 3C, 3 groups of C is really just 3C. Plus 2 groups of C is 2C. I see this subtraction, so I'm going to change that to adding a negative, just like this over here. In addition to this 2 groups of C, I also have 2 groups of negative 200, which means I have negative 400. Plus, I have 4 groups of C. 4 groups of C is 4C, and 4 groups of negative 50. 4 groups of negative 50 is negative 200. Just like we started off in our warm-up. We have to do that distribution first. Then we can combine like terms. I have 3C and 2 more C and 4 more C. That means I have a total of 9C. Plus a negative 400 plus a negative 200 means I have plus a negative 600. That is simplifying an expression where I get rid of those grouping symbols, I do the distribution, I combine like terms, and now I have only 2 terms left, just the C's, or if you wanted to consider them x-tiles, and just the units, or our constants. So now, if a Big Mac has 550 calories in it, how much did his friends consume, him and his friends? Well, we're changing the C to 550. So 9 times C becomes 9 times 550 plus a negative 600. You have calculators, and I can see we've got some ready to already calculate. Go ahead, what is it? 4,050? 350. His friends, Anthony and his friends consumed 4,350 calories. Now that we have finished that problem, the homework problem that I told you you could skip, you now need to complete. It has the same format. It is a little bit different, but it does have the same format where we read the story. Parts of it are already written for you, but you've got to fill in those blanks. So you have to fill in those blanks based on what the story says. So that one I had you skip before, you no longer get to skip because now you've had that practice and that guidance on it. That's it for this video, finishing up Utah Middle School Math Project 1.1b on writing expressions. We'll see you next time.